I saw Detective Pikachu yesterday. There's some interesting news in the Batman casting front, and I'll give you my final predictions for the final episode of Game of Thrones. Welcome to the newest episode of SDW.
Super Dario World!
It's a me,
Dario!
Woohoo! Let's go!
Okay, so a lot of fun stuff to get into, but first, let me get this out of the way. Again, I know it's confusing, but I'm going to go through it with you every single time. Super Dario World is now officially a part of the iHeartRadio network. It's officially part of the show's podcast network. So you can find it in the iHeartRadio app. Just type in The Show Presents Super Dario World, or I tried just Super Dario World and in the podcast section and it showed up, but you can try anyone. Just the easiest one would be The Show Presents Super Dario World. Anyway, you can also find it on the Rock 1053 website. That's rock1053.com. Click on the podcast tab. You'll see it right there. Or click on the follow along with the show tab. You will see it right there. I will put the updated episode of that day on that tab. So I'm trying to make it as easy as I can for you guys to follow me as I transition from one thing to another. As of right now, you can still listen to the show on SoundCloud, YouTube, and iTunes. But again, I will be slowly transitioning away from those. Probably before the end of May. You know what? It's probably going to be as soon as iTunes approves the new one, then that's probably going to be the last week I'll be there. So heads up. Again, switching everything into the iHeartRadio app or the rock1053.com page, anyone you prefer. If that's not enough, you can always follow me on social media at Dario the Show on Instagram. Click on my bio, and the podcast link is right there. So if it's too hard for you to find it any other way, just go to Instagram, click on my bio. Podcast link is right there. I'm going to try to make it as easy as I can for everybody. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions through Instagram. I appreciate all the feedback. I appreciate all the thoughts right now. I have a ton. Since it's the first time I posted about my podcast on the show's Instagram, I got bombarded with stuff. Some of it fun, some of it not so much fun. But I'll go through everything. I always go through everything. It just takes me a little bit sometimes, but I will get to every single one of you. Also, a quick reminder that next Monday, Eddie Papani, that's the Eddie Papani, host of Rock 105.3's The Show, will join me, and we will be talking some Game of Thrones. So any questions you have for Eddie or any questions you have for me, just reach out. Again, Instagram's at Dario the Show. Reach out there. And you know what? Any questions you have for me in general, I'm thinking about, because I get a lot from P1, so I'm thinking instead of just answering there, I'll just start collecting all of them and answering them here. I think that'd be a little bit more fun, and I can get a little bit more into things. I don't know. If I get enough questions that I feel like I could do maybe like a weekly thing, I'll do it. I don't know. I'll think about it. We'll see. Because so far, I like playing with things as they pop up. I don't know. Anyway, just a quick reminder, Eddie will join me on Monday. We'll talk Game of Thrones. So any questions you have for Eddie about Game of Thrones or anything in general, hit me up. But okay.
I am the night.
So this is going to be super brief, super quick, because apparently news came down that Robert Pattinson is being considered to be the new Batman. Supposedly, it's almost confirmed. The only thing left is for him to sign the contract. But I mean, that's a really big thing left. Some would argue that it's the most important thing left. If I had to guess, if I had to go conspiracy theory, I'm assuming that they released information to see how the people would react. So Robert Pattinson would be how people would take it, see if it's worth his time or not. But because the dude hasn't really done any blockbuster stuff lately. So I don't know. I doubt it. My quick thoughts on the casting choice. Robert Pattinson is a decent actor. I don't mean great. I don't mean terrible. I mean decent. I'd say decent good on anything that's not Twilight. The problem for him is that Twilight is still in there. Anyway, so the guy's a decent actor, but does he fit the role of Batman? And I've said this many, many times, not on the air, but so I'll say it here for the first time on the air. Batman is a lot more complex character than people think. I remember once when I heard an interview with Matt Damon where they asked him, hey, do you think Ben Affleck has the chops to do Batman, to play Batman? And his answer was like, dude, it's Batman. It's not as easy as you think, because if you analyze Batman's story, Batman's mask is actually Bruce Wayne. So the real person, the real individual is Batman. The person who he's faking is Bruce Wayne. So it's a very complex hero to do if you know what you're doing. Because, for example, it's not just like Tony Stark. You know, Robert Downey Jr. was Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, and then he put on the mask and became Iron Man. Here it's the opposite. The actor has to be Batman and then put on the mask of Bruce Wayne. I hope that made sense to you. If not, I can get deeper some other time. But right now, does he have the chops to do it? I think the problem is he doesn't fit the profile. He's too skinny. He'd need to put on at least 20 to 30 pounds of muscle. And the issue here is that, okay, Batman is a broody character. Is Robert Pattinson a broody guy? Yes. But the difference is Batman is kind of a broody badass. So far, Robert Pattinson, I've only seen him be kind of like a broody little bitch. No offense, but okay, kind of like a softer broody, okay? Soft. Now, you know what? He's kind of more on the pussy side of the broodiness. So, can he do it? Maybe. Again, he'd need to bulk up a lot, and I need to see. If anybody's seen a Robert Pattinson movie where you can see, okay, he's being a badass. The problem is that I've never seen him be a badass. He's always been more of a Streisand, to quote Paul Rudd on the 40-year-old version. So, I don't like the casting. If you would tell me that Robert Pattinson was cast as the Riddler, I'd be like, okay, solid pick, respectable. I can see him as the Riddler. I think he'd be a great Riddler. I mean, he'd have to step in the shoes of Jim Carrey, which is really hard. Unless you would do if you did with the Riddler what they did with the Joker and Heath Ledger, then okay, Robert Pattinson, perfect choice. So far, Again, if any of you have seen Robert Pattinson in a tough guy role, please let me know what movie it was, and I'll check it out. Honestly, I have not followed this guy's career that much. But the things that I've seen him on, he's decent, just he needs to toughen up a lot. And I mean a lot, and do a ton of research. And so far, if I remember, I don't think he even read the Twilight books, which are a super easy read because they're written in first person. And it's just, 4 books? So if he didn't even do his research for that, and now Batman, that has decades and decades and decades of material, and I've never heard him be like a comic book guy, a superhero guy, so I'm skeptical. I'm not excited. Again, it could be worse. They could have gotten somebody who's just completely nonsensical. But I like this topic, so I will consider who I would cast for Batman, and I'll go into it next week. Not on Monday, but I'll go into it sometime next week. But okay, let's move on to Detective Pikachu. All right, so as always, this is going to be spoiler-free. I'm not going to get too deep into the movie, just superficial thoughts about it, so no spoiler alert. Spoiler-free, you don't have to worry about it. And I'll start with the first question that I was asked about the movie, because Sky from the show asked me this question. She walked in here and she asked me, will me and my daughter Loveland enjoy the movie? Will we understand it? Will it be okay for kids and for adults? The answer to that question is yes. The movie is very, very accessible. If you know nothing about Pokemon, then you would still be able to understand it. In fact, I'd say that it's too superficial, and it doesn't get deep at all on a lot of the Pokemon stuff. So it is super easy to follow. You don't need to know anything about Pokemon. You would still get it completely. At least, I think so. Maybe there's 1 or 2 things that I knew a bit more of, but I think that it's perfectly accessible for anybody, even if you're not familiar with the franchise at all. They don't get into types. They don't get into type advantages. They don't get into anything. They don't really get into the lore that much. So, super accessible for everybody. So, okay, let's start. So, here's the premise of the movie. A guy's father dies in an accident, and he stumbles across a smart-talking Pikachu who's going to help him solve the mystery. I think that's a fair way of saying it. I'm simplifying it a lot, but I think that's a fair way of telling you what the movie's about. And I'm going to try to be as objective as possible here. But I have to be honest, as soon as the movie started, literally the first shot of the movie, the words that came out of my mouth, and I could not hold it in, the words that came out of my mouth were, oh no. And that's not a knock on the movie, that's not a knock on the shot, it's just that I saw kind of the direction that they were going just with the first shot, and I was, oh no, because I did not think that the world was ready for, I don't mean that our world, I mean the world of that movie was developed enough for them to go, that deep. But I'll save that for later, for when I do like an actual review with spoilers. I just had to get that out of my system because it did happen and I couldn't hold it in, and I actually got elbowed by the person that I went to see the movie with, because they were like, "Oh shit, he's gonna be this way the whole movie." No, I wasn't. Okay, so the fanboy in me watching the movie was very happy. It reminded me a lot of Ready Player One. You know, when sometimes there's an Easter egg, like, oh my god, Sonic is there, and oh my god, the Ninja Turtles, and all that. So it's really exciting. You're gonna fanboy out. It's super exciting when you're watching the movie. They're walking around like, oh my god, it's an Arcanine! Look at that thing, it's so fluffy! And stuff like that. It happens a lot throughout the movies. And you see a bunch of posters and stuff about Pokemon battles. It gets ridiculously exciting. Honestly, I felt like a little kid just seeing the world that I loved come to light again. It's weird. It's a weird feeling. So that part was good. That's fine. You don't feel like they're butchering the child in you. You're like, okay, they're honoring it. I don't know a lot of these fucking Pokemon. They're just weird as fuck. But I like the way that the world feels alive. It feels like a natural world, if that makes any sense. Like, if actual Pokemon existed, it feels like it'd be natural. It was well developed in that sense. And the Pokemon look really good. They don't look out of place. None of them really look too fake. Some of them are a little weird, but none of them look too fake. They look like they're okay where they are. So I'll give them points for that. That was a big concern for me, that I was going to be too ridiculous and that it wouldn't feel real. And, oh, by the way, the Easter egg thing is not a knock. I'm not using that as a knock for the movie. They make this movie for Pokemon fans. So to get us excited is a good thing. So it's not a knock. It's exciting. It's fun to watch. So, again, points for that. A lot of Easter eggs all the time. It's a movie that you have to rewatch so that you're going to be like, oh, so you can catch everything like, oh, he was there. Oh, my God, he did make an appearance. Oh, my God, look at that one over there. So it's exciting in that sense. You feel like a kid again. I'll give him points for that. Logically, while I was watching the movie, there was a lot of things that logically did not make sense. Like, as I was watching it, I was going like, that didn't make sense. And stuff like that hurts me. But then I realized that it makes sense in the world of Pokemon logic. I was trying to see this as a live-action movie, as a real movie, which it is a real movie, but it's closer to a live-action adaptation of the video game. So it follows the narrative of one of the Pokemon video games. If you remember the Pokemon video games, the stories are kind of not all over the place, but they're ridiculous. The story is ridiculous, and they don't follow normal rules. Like, why is a kid going to stop a terrorist group instead of calling the cops? Really doesn't make much logical sense, but in the world of Pokemon, that's how it is. It's one kid taking it upon himself to be the hero, and cops being kind of useless. So, no knock on the cops. At least, well, the Pokemon, and not Pokemon cops are mostly useless. If Ash can take down Team Rocket and they can't, then they're useless. Anyway, so once I put on those goggles, once I put the Pokemon logic goggles, you can let go of a lot of the fallacies or a lot of the things that just don't make sense. Because, again, it's weird to say, but in the world of Pokemon, it makes sense because it's their style of storytelling that is completely ridiculous. It's a ridiculous form of storytelling, but it is a staple of the franchise. So, again, if you're going to watch the movie, put on your Pokemon logic goggles, okay? And by Pokemon logic is, we all know that Ash's Pikachu taking on Brock's Sonic was retarded, okay? Electric is not supposed to hurt ground. And yet, somehow, Ash walked out of there with the Boulder Badge. Not only the Boulder Badge, but also as Brock as his almost servant. So, why would you follow a guy who doesn't even know the type? Okay, anyway, the point is, you need to put on the logic goggles of that show and of the game, because we all know it's ridiculous that your fucking Scyther can't cut through a fucking bush, or that you can't just jump over something. We all know it. That's the logic of the game. For some reason, you can't cut through things unless you have a certain attack. It's ridiculous. Point is, that's always been the logic of Pokemon. So, if you put those goggles on, it makes things better. They still do a lot of things that I dislike story-wise, and that hurts important parts of me, but I won't get into those. But if you put the goggles on, it's slightly better. Because you can see, because there were a lot of things that I was like, that didn't really make any sense anyway, unless, oh, that's what they're going for. So I'm not sure if that was the real intent, or if I'm just, trying to find meaning in something that wasn't there, or just being, like the defensive fan and being like, no, they did this because of that, it makes sense, blah, blah, when actually they just kind of stumbled into something that made sense in the Pokemon logic. So I'm not sure. I think it was because there's other hints that tell you that they're going for that world. For example, okay, the main guy, the main guy is Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is fantastic in the movie. I need to get this out of the way. He's hysterical. His jokes are for adults, but there's also, seeing a Pikachu with Ryan Reynolds' voice and kind of a clean Deadpool personality is hysterical. It's great. Whoever thought of that casting, kudos to you. It was genius. It's hysterical. Makes perfect sense. I loved it. He's the best part of the movie by far. Now, the main guy, the main human, Justice Smith, his character plays everything straight. So he's looking at this world kind of like, okay, this is a real world and I'm playing it straight. And it's an interesting contrast because other actors, they're playing it like it's a Pokemon world. Like, my favorite character in this movie is played by Katherine Newton. For those of you who don't know her, for those of you who watch Supernatural, she plays Castiel's host's daughter. For those of you who watch Supernatural, I'm pretty sure you know Castiel's daughter, basically. That's who she plays. Because it really bugged me when I was watching the movie, like, where have I seen her? She's from Supernatural, and she's actually kind of gotten pretty big lately. Anyway, so her character was my favorite character in the movie because the minute she shows up, she presents herself exactly like a character in a video game. Like, hi, my name is this is my profession, you won't be able to stop me, I don't fear, ha ha ha. So it's actually a lot of fun, and she's the reason that I started thinking, oh, okay, that's what they're going for. That's the vibe. A lot of the things that, honestly, the moment that she walks into the screen, for me, it clicked. That's the moment that it clicked, and I started enjoying things a little bit more, story-wise. Because before I was just enjoying the visuals, I was enjoying the adventure in the Pokemon world. But once I saw her performance, it's like, okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. This is the vibe. The main guy has been playing it straight all along, and now we're seeing somebody else who has the video game personality, the cartoon personality. That's the vibe you were going for? Okay, I'm enjoying this. So she was my favorite character in the movie, and it helps you understand the vibe that we're going for. So overall, what I think, the movie was fun to watch. It was a fun watch. Again, if you're a fanboy, you're just going to enjoy it visually. You're going to enjoy watching all the Pokemon pop up. See the way they're popping up, how they're being used in the real world. It's a lot of fun. All of a sudden, a Trico shows up, and you're like, what's a Trico doing? How would you use a Trico in the real world? What's he doing, huh? So it's fun to watch that alone. Just watching, honestly, they could have just put a camera on the street and just have people walking around doing stuff with their Pokemon. It would have been fun to watch. There's a lot of things that I had issues with, particularly, I don't know if I should say this or not. I don't know if I should. Okay. I did not appreciate the villain because I felt that it lacked development. They should have done more with the villain. I've always said this, a villain makes a movie. If you're having a movie about a hero, you need a villain that's equal or greater than, and you need to develop him. That's why Avengers Infinity Wars was so great, because it was a movie mostly about Thanos. Great villain. That's why The Dark Knight is the best of the Batman movies, because it has the best villain. So I felt like it needed a Team Rocket. You know, a cartoonish villain for that movie would have been great. So that's my only knock on it. You might disagree. You might think the villain was great. So only knock overall. Again, oh god, because I don't want to. I think I'm grading this movie with my heart right now too much, and I'm also kind of in the high. But I'll say it was a good movie. It was a fun watch. I would watch it again. In fact, you know what? I might even buy it. That's how much I enjoyed it. Ryan Reynolds was fantastic. It's really funny. It has a lot of heart, but it needs a better villain. So that's my only knock. Other than the logic stuff, but you can forgive those a little. Again, I don't know if I'm just justifying the movie or if it was planned. That's my issue. That's the big issue. I need to watch interviews and stuff because I feel like I'm just justifying. That's why I don't like this feeling. I feel like I'm just making excuses for somebody else's mistake. If somebody actually says that it was planned, okay, I'll feel a lot better. But right now I feel like I'm just justifying things that could have been mistakes, which I don't like doing. But overall, even with the mistakes, you know what? I'll say that. Even with the mistakes, even with the logical stuff, it's still a fun watch. It's funny, full of heart, and an enjoyable adventure. And like I said, if you're a fanboy, you're going to enjoy it. If you're a fan of the franchise, you will enjoy watching it. If you've never seen a Pokemon movie or a Pokemon show or played a Pokemon game, you'll still be able to understand it. So I highly recommend it. I will give this movie a Dario approved, and I'll give it let's say a 7.3 out of 10. I feel like that's decent. That rating is because I'm voting with my heart. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt that it was all planned because I'm being optimistic right now. So I'll give it a 7.3 out of 10, which is not bad for a kid's movie. So, all right, that's it. That's all I have to say about Pokemon right now. Detective Pikachu, you can watch it. Let me know what you think after you watch it. But let's move on to Game of Thrones. Okay, so the final episode of the final season of Game of Thrones will air this Sunday, and everybody's abuzz. Everybody's excited, kind of, because everybody's also kind of pissed off that they've been ruining the show the last season. I've made the argument that they've been ruining it since way before, and I think, because I had an interesting conversation with Eddie the other day this week. He was like, dude, why is it that the episode that everybody else hated, you liked? You're the only one who liked it. And I said, no, I didn't like it. I liked it better than the other ones because at least some consequences happened. The thing that you don't realize is that they've been doing this type of garbage to us for years. Except this is the only time you've actually cared. Before, I've been caring for years. I've been calling shenanigans and so many things on this show for years. But now this is the first time you actually notice. This is why I'm honestly desensitized a little, because I expected them to do something ridiculous. And I'm almost at the point where I can't be shocked anymore. They've already done their most heinous crimes have already been done. I don't think, I've said before that they've surprised me by how I thought that my expectations could not get lower, and they still managed to find somewhere to dig deeper. So I'll give them credit. That's very impressive. But I've complained for so long. There's nothing shocking to me anymore when they do this type of thing. The only thing I can do is just praise them for the things that actually make sense. It's weird. Anyway, I'll debate that with Eddie on the air on Monday. Because again, the difference between him is I think we both love the show equally. He just loves it and is very forgiving. I just love it, and I'm super hypercritical. So that's the big difference. You'll see it on Monday. But anyway, as I do every week, I'll give you the 3 things I hope happen during this episode and the 3 things that I hope don't happen this episode. So again, final episode, a lot at stake, a lot. There's nothing more after this. They need to, and the last one left a lot of people with a lot of bad taste in their mouth. Like, I could argue that there's only been one death that made actual sense and that actually wrapped up the story. I mean, you can argue that any death wraps up any story because they're dead, but the only one that made sense in terms of character development and character cycles has been Melisandre's. Second place is probably the Hound. Third, I would argue Jaime. And here's the only reason why I would argue Jaime, because they completely destroyed his character in the last episode. They completely destroyed it. But there's also a thing to, and I've heard this argument online, addiction. Jaime is suffering from an addiction to Cersei, and his addiction killed him. So in that sense, I could give it to you, but I don't think the writers thought of it that way. And the thing that completely ruined it was Jaime saying that, oh yeah, I've never cared for those people. Dude, you sacrificed your honor to save that fucking city before. You know, the Kingslayer thing? You know, you remember that? We do. Anyway, so, and again, I think that would be number 3. Everybody else, not so much. Nope, not even close. So, and again, I did not like Jaime's death. And I really don't want to give the writers the benefit of the doubt here. Honestly, you know what? I take back Jaime being the third one because I don't want to give the writers any benefit of the doubt at this point. Just think about it. I'll give you one example. My boy Euron. I loved Euron. Euron was hysterical. They gave him nothing to work with. But the dude, okay, the last episode, the dude killed a dragon, right? Do you know when I would shut up about killing a dragon if I killed a dragon? It would take at least 5 lifetimes before I shut the fuck up about being the guy who killed the dragon. And at the end, he cared more about what? killing Jaime Lannister when nobody fucking saw. Dude, you killed a fucking dragon. That's more than enough to hang your hat on. You're a king. You're a king of the Iron Islands because you won the vote. First off, you're the most popular guy in an island by your people. You're respected. You won the popular vote. Then you fuck the queen, which means that you'll probably, become king that way. And supposedly she's pregnant with your kid, but you don't know that. You don't know it's not your kid. Anyway, and then all of a sudden, you care more about killing Jaime Lannister than the fucking dragon that you just fucking slayed? Made no sense. So you know what? Writers, you don't get the benefit of the doubt on that one. It was just horrible all around. Anyway, okay, so I got really sidetracked there. I was really upset. I liked Euron. Euron's a lot of fun. Well, he was. I actually got in a conversation with somebody about Euron, like, no, well, they didn't use him. He was just stupid. I hated him. It's like, okay, the way that they wrote him was stupid. The performance was really good. Like, they gave the guy nothing, and he still managed to make, because he had no motivation. Honestly, if any of you can tell me what Euron's plan was, I'll be shocked. His plan made no sense. There was no logic to anything anywhere. And so the dude still gave us a fun performance. Was it an Oscar-worthy performance? No, but it was fun to watch. Anyway, I need to get that out of the way. I'll miss Euron. I'll miss him in this episode. But okay, let's move on, because I've ranted way too much already. I went on way too many tangents. But okay. So let's start with the positive. The 3 things that I hope happen in this episode. So, okay, number 1, the first thing that I hope happen in this episode is that Bran fucking does something. Okay, I'm leaving it open. Something. Because so far, Bran being the 3-eyed raven has helped. How exactly? I mean, killing Littlefinger? Is that it? Which, by the way, was complete BS. But other than that, I mean, what did he do against the Night King? What did he do against Cersei? Nothing. Now, if you're going to make the argument that maybe it's because he knew that Daenerys was going to be the real big battle all along and this is when he does something, okay, I'd like to see it. So please, show us something. Show us Bran doing something, because so far he's done a whole lot of nothing other than creep people out with rape comments. Anyway, that's number 1. Number 2 of the things that I hope do happen, I hope that both Arya and Tyrion die. Okay? So, why Tyrion? Tyrion, honestly, should have major fucking consequences in this episode. The dude betrayed Daenerys, and there's no fucking way Daenerys doesn't know this. I mean, you could argue that Daenerys even set him up with the whole Jaime thing. And that's why the guards left so easily, because they had orders for her to leave. The point is, there's no way that Jaime Lannister got away without Tyrion Lannister's help, and there were guards there who actually helped them. So Tyrion should be deader than Jaime and Cersei, Varys, freaking Drogo, and Ned Stark combined. Dude should be dead, okay? There's no other way around this. He should be dead. Or, you know what? I will give you this. I will give you this caveat, that Daenerys at least tries to kill him or plans on killing him, because the dude betrayed her. And we've seen what Daenerys does with betrayal, right? It happened literally on the episode before. So Tyrion has to die, with the caveat that he's sentenced to death by Daenerys. That's it. Also, she thinks he's an idiot. I don't get why he still has a job. If I did half the shit that he did, I'd be fired. Fired. Okay? So that's Tyrion. Tyrion should be dead, or at least be sentenced to death. I could see somebody saving him because of plot armor, honestly. I mean, if we're being honest, the only reason why he'd survive is plot armor. Or complete total bullshit, which are kind of the same thing. But anyway, Arya, the reason why I want her to die is because she doesn't really have a place in this world. And for characters usually who are seeking vengeance, which has been her whole story so far, it's not salvation, it's not protecting, no. Her story has been about vengeance. Those story arcs tend to close with death, because revenge is never over until you die. Everybody's dead. That's one of those things. That's a recurring theme with vengeance. Now, that being said, for some reason, D&D, that's David Benioff and Dan Weiss, the producers of the show, have been trying to subvert expectations. So whenever we think that they should go one way, or that it would be logical for them to go to one way, they tend to go somewhere that makes no complete fucking sense. So let's say, for example, I don't know, you're in a football game, and it's the 4th down, and you're 10 yards away from the first down, and so everybody expects you to pass, right? So everybody's expecting you to pass, and all of a sudden you run the ball. So it's like, oh my God, everybody was expecting you to pass, but you ran, you took a risk. It kind of still made sense because there's a chance you can get those 10 yards. It could work out. There's a chance. What D&D do is, if you guys have ever seen the 4th down fake punt by the Colts against the Patriots, do yourself a favor. Go to YouTube. Just type in dumbest play in Colts history. That's who D&D are. That's what they keep doing, and they've done it a lot. They keep running the same play this season. Honestly, I don't think I have a better example than that. I'll wait. Just go ahead. Go to YouTube. Click dumbest play in Colts history. Put it on YouTube and check that out. That's D&D to a T. Anyway, the point is, they think subverting expectations is a good thing, but they don't do it in a way that makes sense. They just bring something out of nowhere that makes no sense, and they're like, ha, we surprised you. You did not see that coming. Well, yeah, we didn't see it coming because you never set it up. You never justified it. There's no reason why this should come out of nowhere. Like Arya killing the Night King. Came literally out of nowhere. Literally. Don't believe me? Go watch the scene again. There's a reason why people kept making the memes of Arya floating around in crows while Bran, is guiding them. Out of nowhere. Anyway, they do that, and so I hope that at least with Arya, they close it out neat and nice, and it shows you the consequences of vengeance, because again, if you're wrapping up a vengeance story arc, it usually ends up with the character looking for vengeance dying or sacrificing himself for something that he found that was worth more than his vengeance. I mean, there's also situations where it happens differently, but again, usually that's a nice way to end that arc with some kind of consequence. And Arya really doesn't have a place in this world after Daenerys is dead, honestly, because right now she's mad at Daenerys. She's angry. She's I'm mad. She's riding the pale mare. She's riding death. But I don't see a faceless man having a place at court in this world. Do you? Do you see her being the type of person who helps build this world? No, she's a force of destruction. That's what they made her out to be. I mean, except when she changed her mind, imagine going 99% of the way, 99.9% of the way to doing something and then changing your mind. That's like, I don't know, dropping out of college when you had 1 day left, like literally one test left and you drop out. Like, you know what, screw this. I don't want to be a doctor anymore. Anyway, so she's mad at Daenerys. I think that she and Greyworm are gonna have their big boss fight. I think that's where it is. And again, Greyworm also, the last episode was all vengeance, all fury. So a vengeance Arya against the vengeance Greyworm trying to defend Daenerys, I think would be a fitting end for both. I really doubt that they're going to give Arya the kill of Daenerys. I think that's going to be Jon. Jon is going to be the one that has to kill her because she already killed the Night King. But again, subverting our expectations. Nobody expects Arya to do it, so it might be her. Anyway, point is, I think she should die. Moving on, the first thing that I hope happens... So far I got Bran doing something, Arya and Tyrion dying, or at least Tyrion being sentenced to death. And number 3 is, I don't want Sansa to end up being the queen. I want Gendry to be the king. I said it, I meant it. I want there to be a fucking consequence to Daenerys legitimizing her biggest competition. I think it'd be hysterical if Gendry ends up being the king of the Seven Kingdoms. Because so far everybody's made the argument that the only character that isn't morally tainted is Sansa. No, you are mistaken. Sansa is responsible for the death of her younger brother. You could say that she is directly responsible for the death of her brother. Now, I know most of you don't remember Rickon, and Rickon, for those of you who don't remember, was the youngest brother. He was killed by Ramsay before the Battle of the Bastards. The reason why... Oh, and I know I just said, Dario, you just said it. He was killed by Ramsay. Yeah, he was killed by Ramsay because Sansa did not let Jon know that they had the bigger army. So usually what happens when you are talking with a commander before a battle, or at least how it used to happen, you kind of tend to negotiate. The one who's in the stronger position tries to find a way to either the battle not to happen, to get some concessions, stuff like that. So if Jon would have known that he had the bigger army, he would have told Ramsay, like, dude, you're screwed. We have the bigger army. you're dead. Honestly, you can hold out for a little bit, but eventually you're going to lose because we have the stronger force. So release my brother, or we'll find a way to negotiate. The point is they could have negotiated. It probably wouldn't have worked out because Ramsay's kind of crazy, but Sansa cared more about her vengeance than she cared about Rickon. So she didn't tell Jon about the army because she knew that Jon would probably try to negotiate, and she did not want to negotiate. She wanted to go in there and kill Ramsay. So her thirst for vengeance was the direct death of her brother. And here's the funny thing. You guys remember how Sansa convinced Jon to go and fight Ramsay? She said, he has our brother. We have to go save him. And then 2 episodes later, she told Jon, Rickon's dead. You don't understand that he's dead. So what the fuck, Sansa? Anyway, so the point is, her hands aren't clean, okay? She's directly responsible for the death of her brother. Now, on the other hand, my boy Gendry's totally clean. Like, he grew up, he's a man of the people. He has a job. He fought to defend the people. He built the weapons to kill the White Walkers. Dude's a war hero. So, also, he's the son of Robert, and I love Robert. Robert was one of my favorite characters. I miss Robert. And also, it would be a big FU to Arya, who rejected him. So I think Gendry should be the next king. I think he's earned it. And it would be funny. In many levels, it would be really funny for me. So those are my 3 things. Bran doing something, Arya and Tyrion getting it, and Gendry being king. I think that would be fun. Anyway, the 3 things that I hope don't happen, and this one is kind of tied up to the one before. I don't want it to end with a democratic vote to see who's the leader. They made an allusion to this. Tyrion mentioned it, that the Ironborn have a way of selecting their leader, and it's kind of a democratic thing. You can vote for who your leader is going to be. I don't want them to do that because, honestly, in a medieval setting, it doesn't really make sense. How can you go and get a vote from everybody? A popular vote doesn't really make sense. There's a reason why they did things the way they did in medieval times. So the one who has the best claim, again, would be Gendry. And if they do a democratic vote, I don't know why I think they would pick Sansa and Tyrion because they're still technically married. And it makes no sense because, again, Tyrion's an idiot and everybody hates him. Legit, everybody hates Tyrion. And Sansa is in the north doing something else. Nobody knows of Sansa, honestly, except in the north and in the Vale. So the rest of the kingdom, who has the majority of the people, by the way, the Reach has the majority of the people. So if they're going to do a democratic thing, somebody from the Reach would definitely win. So I guess that would mean Sam Tarly would be the winner. So I don't want it to be a democratic vote. Anyway, that's the first thing. The second thing, I don't want Daenerys to just be stone cold. Because I don't want her to just shut down and just be cold. You've shown her break. You've shown the moment when she made the decision, okay, fuck all this shit. I'm going to burn this bitch down, okay? I don't want her to just be like the Terminator. It's like, okay, cool, I don't feel anything. No, I want you to show her being paranoid, because honestly, to me, it was a little weird that they try to make Daenerys look like she was going crazy because everybody was turning and thinking that everybody was turning against her in the episode that everybody was turning against her. Like, literally everybody was betraying her. So it made sense for her to think that way. I've always said she's crazy. So I want, if this was the breaking point, show us the breaking point. Act a little, Emilia Clarke. Show us that you're actually crazy. Show us that you're more than just the stone cold, oh, I don't feel anything. No. It was, you did something that was insane. It wasn't just cold. It was legit insane. Not calculated. Did not make any sense. So show us a little bit more paranoia. Show us a little bit more viciousness. A little more fiery. More fire. More blood. So I want that. I want her to actually not go stone cold. Go fire and flame. Fire and fury. That's what we want. Okay? And the number 3 thing that I hope doesn't happen, which honestly, in a way, would be a fitting end for Jon, but I don't want it to happen. I don't want Jon to just ride off into the sunset. I could see the show perfectly ending with Jon going off into the wild, because he doesn't have a place in this world anymore, really, similar to Arya. So he just goes off to the north, finds Ghost, and they survive in the wild. And that's how it ends, right? He just goes off and survives with his ghost. He becomes a ghost, right? That would be somewhat of a fitting end, but I don't want it to happen. I want Jon to take up the mantle of Ned Stark and being Warden of the North, for him to be the great unifier of the Land of Always Winter, and the North. So just make it all one thing, because that's always been Jon's story. That's always where he's been. What he cares about is the North. Every single thing that he's always cared about, everything that he's always loved, has usually been in the North. The only thing that he loved from the South was Daenerys Targaryen, and city burnt down from that. So I think the dude doesn't want the responsibility. It's clear by now that the dude does not want the responsibility of leadership. He doesn't want to be king. Very similar to Ned Stark. So I think he'd be happy just in the North, trying to make his world better, his people better. So I think that that's the way they'd go down. And honestly, I'd be happy with, check this out. Okay, so the parallels between Ned Stark and Robert Baratheon, they took down the Targaryen dynasty, and one became the king, and one became the Warden of the North. I'd be super happy if the guy who's been known as the Stark bastard and the Baratheon bastard take down an actual Targaryen dragon, and then one stays as king. He could marry Sansa. That would be reasonable, right? He marries Sansa. They got the whole parallels there about the Baratheons and the Starks joining houses, and Jon goes up to the North, and I'd feel like that would be a decent end to him, because he's going to have a dream of spring, because again, Jon's personality and temper has always been very similar to Ned's, and Ned only cared about the growing things in the North. He cared about making his world better. So I feel like that would be the most fitting end. I wouldn't be mad at him and Ghost just riding off into the sunset, but I definitely don't want to be king. And if he dies, he dies, you know? If he dies, he dies. I'd be happy with that too. Anyway, that's it for today. That's it for this week. That's it for everything. Quick reminder again, at Dario the Show on Instagram. You can find me there. Send me any comments, questions, or suggestions. Any questions you have for Eddie Papani, who will be joining me on Monday to break down everything Game of Thrones, you can send it there. Let me know what you think of what I think should and shouldn't happen in this episode. I love the feedback. Was I too negative? I felt like I was too negative in this one, but it's the last one. I'm kind of tired, so I wanted to wrap up, and I want it to be nice and neat. I don't want it to be too open. So anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll see you again on Monday.